1 second. I'm going to try one. Ah.
Whoa. Yeah, I don't know how you do that. You might be able to select a portion of it,
Um,
or if you can
I'm just going to,
resize it, you'd have to
yeah.
potentially play around and resize it if you know how to
Yeah. Give
do
me
that.
1 second. Yeah. I'll do that right now. I just don't want to ruin all of our time here.
Well, I will say that we're doing a pretty good job of having everything running. Just
Yeah. But if we
saying,
have to, yeah, that's
focus
true.
on the positives.
I
Now
sometimes
we're
need that
worrying
reminder.
about background stuff. That before we were just worried about, can I hear you? Can you hear me?
It's so true.
So
Okay.
with working together, we're getting better.
Get in there.
And yeah, the only thing I know how to do,
um,
like you have to change it from landscape to a portrait, and that might be.
oh, I just sent this to you. I'm trying to send it to me. Yeah. At least you can enjoy that too. There you go. Too funny. Uh,
Oh, look at that! I just got a text message from Candace. I wonder what she sent me. Oh, oh, Candace builds a house. Dun, dun, dun.
yeah, but I can't figure out technology. You give me anything that's tangible and we'll do it. But anything with like technology, it's not my strong suit, I guess. But you know what? You can't be good at everything. It's
You
just not
can't be good at
possible.
it. And
You
hey,
gotta
we're here
play.
to work through it and figure it out.
And you know what? I think I might have. So 1 second here. Okay, we got that. Image
That's
down
my
to
drum. We've got a drum roll, ladies and gentlemen. Boom.
kind of.
There
There
you
you
go.
go. Yeah, it's good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it works. We can work on it.
Okay, looks good. Perfect. Okay, get out of there. Get out of that. You should see like the tabs in my computer. It's just nuts.
Should we
They're I
do like a little intro?
screen share. Okay. Oh yeah, intro. Um.
J and K, J and K, J and J and K.
My husband's gonna watch this and just think I'm more of a loser than he already knows I am.
Hi, Rob. This is
Too
episode
funny.
3.
Yeah. Third time's a charm, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Other
So
than background being a problem there for what, 2 minutes? At least we got the sound all figured out this time. We'll see how.
exactly this time. I'm not saying all the time, just this time.
Yeah. So true. We said we wanted to talk like more like introduce ourselves,
Yeah, like
like
I don't think
kind of
people
like on our
know.
background,
Like I don't think people like know. Like
who we are, the essence of us,
yeah, like
the who we
who's
came,
Candace
who
or
is
who's Jay or Jason,
yeah.
depending who you talk. If we're talking to my mother, I'm Jason.
She's never called you J.A.,
Sometimes she slips and says it.
but she's a hard adamant Jason.
Yes,
Yeah. Because that's, you know what? No matter how old you are, you're going to be your little boy. The same thing, like, I didn't
100%.
even understand until I had Max that,
Yeah,
like, the bond between a mother and a son is just incredible. Like,
100% agree.
obviously, I love my daughter and we have our own special bond, but Max, I know I love him because he drives me absolutely insane. And there has to be something special there for me not to just like lose my shit.
Honestly, I know I drove my mom crazy at many a time.
Hearing some of your stories, I can understand it. You got kicked out of school. Am I supposed to say that?
No,
Okay.
no, don't tell everybody.
Okay, won't tell.
That
Okay,
to
you're
be
gonna
honest, actually, that happened on Friday, October 13th.
So the anniversary is coming up for that, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a
Five.
Friday the 13th?
It was Friday the 13th, and then
Oh.
I got. I then was teaching 5 years later. Boop.
Yeah, how you just scaled that mountain there, like no looking back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kicked me out of this place, now I run it.
Well,
Whoa.
I never ran anything. Just taught. Just had fun.
Well, I mean, the classroom, let's
Yeah.
say the classroom,
Yeah.
because being a teacher, you have to take charge of the classroom and make sure the kids learn everything on the curriculum, right?
Yeah. So, do you want to go first and talk about a little bit about yourself, or do you want me to go first?
Well, you know what? I think we're already on the topic of you. So I think we have to kind of like elaborate on your life because we already
Okay.
started it. So people are probably like, got kicked out of school? What a bad,
No, no.
like a bad boy. But really, Jay,
I'm so I my name's Jason George. I grew up in Mississauga. Um, I didn't say my first word until I was 4 years old. Um, I went to school. I only really got in a little bit of trouble here and there, but I did get expelled, as Candace mentioned. But to be honest, I got expelled from school, and that was Friday, October the 13th. And I went on a March break trip with that school that I got expelled from. So 6 months later, I was on a trip with them to the Amazon, Ecuador, and the Galapagos Islands.
It's
Right.
amazing. That's an
So
awesome school trip.
it was an amazing school trip. And like, if I was a bad kid, I wouldn't have been allowed on that trip. I'm not even sure how I was being a teacher. It makes no sense to me, but we can talk about that on a later
You know what?
episode.
I don't, yeah, we'll definitely elaborate, I think, going forward, because obviously, I think knowing just about my son's personality and he's only 4. I think I'm going to probably have um the same experiences with him because he is one of the most loving kids. He is just like Max will he'll go up if he sees anybody hurt, he'll go up and like kiss their boo-boos. He'll go and help you put on your shoes if they like he'll always try and help you up. But at the same time, he's just off the wall.
Yeah.
He will try and like jump from like the highest place that he can find, not thinking that this could break your neck, Max.
No,
Like,
but that's not. It's the fun about it. The wind in your hair.
yeah, but then it's losing Mama's hair.
Yeah.
Mama's
Well,
losing all of her hair.
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes as a kid, we don't think about that.
Yeah, and you know what? Knowing how sweet your mother is,
She's amazing. I totally agree.
she is absolutely amazing. So now I feel like I have a little bit of a connection to her
Yeah.
because she had, you know what, crazy Jay,
Yeah.
because you're nuts, but you're so lovable too. And
So,
I have
so
crazy Max, but he's so lovable too. So you know what?
some of the kids I coach call me Crazy Coach Jay.
Well, I think I was listening to like a radio program once. I don't even know. I can't remember the name of this radio program, but they were talking about um the craziest people they know. And this was like a Toronto like radio program. It was, like syndicated, and your name came up. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Um, I
Your
think
name
you're
came out.
I think you're talking about Biggs and Bar, actually.
Bang. Yeah, I think I am talking about them. And your name out of like absolutely nowhere, Jay George came up.
So so I actually played hockey. Played some charity hockey with those guys, and yeah. So back to like a little bit about me. I became a teacher for a bit. I traveled. I actually chose where I went for teachers college because the World Cup was in Germany. I ended up meeting Biggs and Bar at some point and playing hockey with them for charity. I've shaved my hair for charity, so I do some good things, although sometimes I have a little bit too much fun. And
It's all in
then
good fun.
yeah,
Yes.
um, and yeah, so I played in a charity hockey game or two with these guys, and they we're talking about the most interesting person they know because I've done some interesting things like running with the bulls and
You have. Yeah.
being inked on in the face by a squid or
Which
yeah.
I don't think many people would sign up for.
Yeah, I didn't really know that it was going to happen. I was night snorkeling and found a squid, and then it inked in my face, and I have a video of it, which is kind of funny. But
Well, you can just place that video in the comments section for the podcast. I'm sure people would love to see that video.
yeah, Jason George photography on YouTube. Um, but yeah, I didn't know that Biggs and Bar were going to talk about me. I actually got sent it by my friend Mike Santos because he loves them. That's actually how I actually got introduced to them. Um, and he sent me a message, and yeah, I heard that interview, and it was kind of cool that they were talking about me and some of the funnier things I've done. I'm glad that they kept it PG for the for the audience. But yeah, I've had some fun, and now I do some wildlife photography, and I just try to share my passion and love of nature with people, and I try to help out others when I can. I started this like thing where I try to take special needs people to sporting events, and I call it Epic First, um, which I think is pretty fun. And then I just started this wildlife club for kids who like wildlife. I call it the JGP Prowl because Prowl
Nice.
is a group of jaguars,
Yeah.
and my initials spell JAG, which is Jag.
Oh, I didn't even put
Which
that
is
two together. Yes.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's kind of deep. And then I also like owls, and owl is in the word prowl, so it's kind of cool that it works on multiple levels. And
Yeah.
I've
And
got
just kids are
Sandy,
true.
right? So and yeah, like we have this is the first year of running. This year we helped the piping plovers. We had two virtual meetings and two in-person meetings, and we're gonna
Hey,
have a
wait.
meeting.
What are the piping plovers?
The piping plovers are an endangered bird in Canada, well, in the world.
Oh.
And we went and we did some research and looked at them and scouted them. And I will be making a video at some point about that experience with the kids, um, and the plovers themselves. But they're a tiny little bird, and basically the babies um, use like their camouflage just to look like a pebble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, I definitely need to sign Mary and Max up for that at some point. I know that I'm nervous to sign Max up for anything because I'm sure he'll just run and I don't know, he'll be
Yeah.
lost in the forest
Time
forever.
will change that. Don't worry.
It is slowly changing. He's getting a bit better, which is great. But yeah, he's funny that way.
Yeah. So let's hear a
Um,
little bit about you. A little.
oh, okay. Yeah. So you know what? I don't even know when I said my first word, to be honest with you. I think I was a little bit later. But everybody chalked it up because I have an older brother, and my older brother would always talk for me. Like Candace wants a cookie, or Candace wants this. So my brother was really helpful in my earlier years. So thank you, Jamie. Um, so yeah, I was a little bit more, more or less delayed speech, but I think it was, by the time I was 3, I was talking or whatever. But um, really, nobody really picked up on my learning disability until grade 4 or 5. I had this teacher, Mrs. Olenek, who sent me for testing,
That's
because
cool.
obviously, yeah, nobody thought of anything about it because I still I kept up, like I always had like average to like high average grades. I always pick up on everything pretty fast. But it was my reading and writing. I was a little bit slow for reading, and right now, I think just even being an adult, and I have that time to really like stop and think about how I learn. And there's been a couple of scenarios, like even really recently, that has taught me how I learn and how I need to, like stop things that I'm doing to help me progress, with
Gonna
learning. And
dig into that a little bit more throughout this podcast. Those day-to-day encounters or current encounters.
yeah, what I'm talking about right now actually is so recently I've I've trained to be a supervisor at work. So I'm already a supervisor of like workers, but now I'm training to be a supervisor of the supervisors. So my boss was talking to me about a job that we had to cover, and he was asking me who we had left on our roster so that I could send out to a job to take care of it. And he was asking me someone about who was at an access desk that I could pull. And so I was thinking about who I had, and I'm like thinking hard about who it is. He's already on to his next third sentence about how this job is like more details about this job, but yet I'm in my head still thinking about who I have at my disposal.
Yeah.
So really, I realize, okay, now I can't just stop and like, I have to continue on with the conversation,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
my mind needs to like keep following that conversation. I can't just stop to think. I need to be able to like roll with the conversation. So right then and there, I realized, okay, this is something that I definitely have to work on. I definitely see it as my weakness, but now that I've recognized that, it could probably become one of my strengths now, as long as I work out that muscle, that brain muscle, to keep focused and keep.
I think that's a very important thing to recognize where we're like having issues or struggling and
Mhm.
work and try to improve on those things because that's the only way to get better.
Oh, exactly, and it's important to be able to recognize what when you're not doing your best. Where I think, I don't know if it was the same for you, but growing up, did you find yourself daydreaming a lot when your teacher is, teaching a lesson in class, but you would be, um, there'd be a word that they say that you kind of just like cling on, and then you kind of like go off in like a little tangent. You kind of like
100%.
daydream about that.
I'm better now at focusing. I'm
Yeah.
definitely like fidgety. Like if you're watching the video, you can see that I move around a little bit.
I think I've seen your toes in a couple of videos.
It's so I'm in a rocking chair because I know like I know myself like I am fidgety. So if as long as I'm fidgety, it helps me still focus if I can move and like I'm still listening, but I'm just fidgety. Like which goes with
Yeah.
like I know if I know my flaws, why not work to with them or like
Yes.
like I know that like I can struggle and fight through it or I can just accept and embrace it and be like, well, I'm just going to be fidgety in this sweet comfy rocking chair.
So I heard a quote a while ago, and I think I might butcher it, but it goes, where if
I might
you're,
butcher it.
I'm going to butcher it. Like
Okay.
I, so it goes, if your child is interested, really good at sports, really good at like soccer, and really bad at like math, then instead of getting your child a math teacher, you get him a football coach. You can play to your child's strengths instead of just playing to their weaknesses and making them feel less than. So if they are able to focus more on football, then why wouldn't you just try and like hone in on that skill?
I think depending on how much they struggle at math,
Yeah.
maybe, but maybe you could do both though,
Yeah.
right? Like I think sometimes we do more one than the other. I actually, to be honest, I was actually at this lady's house and I was tutoring her daughter, and we were there, and her son struggled and wanted some like sports help.
Yep.
And the wife was like, can you? I was like, yeah, for sure. And so like I would literally go over and like we would play soccer one on one and work on his skills and like do drills and again play little games for like an hour with him, and like and then I tutor the daughter. And like honestly for me it was amazing because like I got I got to like work my brain and then get some physical activity myself. Like it was actually like the best thing ever. And
Yeah.
like he now plays soccer at a pretty high level. I'm not saying it's because of me, but I like to feel I had a little help.
Exactly. Well, not only that, but like, helping him with soccer, getting all that energy out. And if he were to, you know, maybe even be tutored after that, at least he has his energy out, something that he
Totally.
really enjoyed, so I think that might be, something to think about.
I
And
definitely think that some of the more active people, if you were to like let them play their sport and get that activity out of them, not saying you
yeah,
work them till
sport.
they're tired, but like,
Yeah.
hey, get a little of that activity. Like I honestly, when I was teaching, I knew that I had some kids who were like, they played sports at a high level when they told me they were good or whatever. Who knows
Hmm.
if they were actually good? Some of them were, but I knew that they were fidgety and they just couldn't sit in the classroom, but like they still wanted to like learn. And so I created this like joke, and I put like I taped a little like penalty box,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
I taped these like shapes in it. So like I didn't want to send them out of the classroom because then they can't learn,
Yeah.
right? And then they get in trouble for being in the hallway, but they just couldn't sit in the chair for like the period. So I just be like, "Hey, you got 5 minutes in the square. Oh, you got 5 minutes in the triangle. You got five
Yeah,
minutes in
that's a
like
great idea because I got your point across
yeah."
that,
And like the kids got it, and like some days they'd walk into class and be like, "Sir, I need 5 minutes in the in the square." I was like, "Sure." And like it wasn't like, I'm sure some people are like, "Oh, you can't." I was like, but it wasn't a punishment. It was just I sensed that you just were fidgety and you couldn't sit there. Like I didn't want to punish you because I could see you were about to punch Johnny. Like I'm trying to be proactive and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
instead of punching Johnny and you don't even know you're about to punch Johnny, go stand there." And they'd be like, "Oh, sir, that's a good idea." And I'd be like, "Sweet." And like
Well,
sometimes it was a girl, sometimes it was a boy. Most of the time, not gonna lie, it was the boys. But
well,
like,
it's nice that you were able to recognize that and do it in a playful way.
yeah,
So they didn't, so they weren't down on themselves for getting in trouble all the time too,
right. And if you send them out into the hallway, then they get yelled at by like the principal or other teachers, and they start getting like looked at like, "Oh man, this little Jason's out in the hallway again." It's like, no, like I dealt with it in the classroom, and they still got to learn. And like I tried to cater to the kids who were a little bit more active and like couldn't sit still for a whole period because
Oh, yeah.
I know I can't always sit still for a whole period.
Yeah, no, it's good that you saw their weaknesses and you're able to play to their strength for sure. Like even with my daughter Mary, she she's in grade 2. She's trying her best to learn how to read. There's a little bit of a struggle there, but she's getting it slowly. But she loves crafts. She loves art. She loves all that stuff. So it's nice to be able to kind of incorporate that. And she gets excited about it. If you put an activity with art and reading or like writing into it. So it's nice that there's a pathway for her to learn
That's
where she has interest,
that is very, yeah. If you make it fun for them, then learning is like learning doesn't always have to like suck. Like try to find something that they enjoy and like mix it in with it. I think is something that's super important. Maybe not enough parents or even teachers do.
Yeah, exactly. So we went off on this tangent when I was talking about Mrs. Olnick. She
Oh, yes.
sent me for testing. Um, yeah, I think it just, she might have realized that my focus wasn't always there. You know, a lot of the time I can even still remember back in grade 1, daydreaming and not real, like being frustrated at myself because I couldn't keep focused, and I would just daydream, you know. But I think that that's maybe more of a creative mind, that's what we do. We just, you know, somebody says something and then it's like, boom, like, oh yeah, we go off in a tangent and like think of all the possibilities. So yeah, so Miss Olenek sent me for testing. That's when we came back. Yep, learning disability. Back then, I don't think anybody had an idea what a learning disability was. I don't think teachers knew. I didn't know. I just went from, you know, thinking I'm an average kid to like, boom, oh, okay, well, I must be stupid, you know.
Yep.
So yeah, that kind of like changed the trajectory of my life, where um, it was a good thing that, you know, you do get answers, but not in the right way. So it kind of cuts you down a bit. But yeah, I continued on not knowing why I had a learning disability, not knowing why I was stupid, but I was still the person that was able to figure out everybody else's um, problems in life. You know, all my friends would come to me and I would, you know, help them out, anything. You know, it seemed to be odd like that, where I couldn't figure out why this wasn't going together, you know. Um, but yeah, so I started when I was in high school. Again, I was always being like hands-on, a hands-on learner. My dad raised me, so I'd always help him with his like car. He's a mechanical engineer, so he was always like more hands-on, and I would help him. So I think that helped me with like learning hands-on. I took shop when I was in high school, and I started welding. I became a welder. I came back and I helped teach after school classes with my teacher. I was a TA for that when I was in high school. But then after high school, they don't really teach you what you can do. I thought, oh, okay, there's not really much you know, you can do with welding. So I guess I'll just take business. Everybody takes business in school. So why don't I just take business? And then
It's true.
yeah. So I took business and, you know, done that. And you know what? I still wasn't ready to go out in the world, even though I was done my college program. So um, I always hear about people traveling after they're done their program. So I thought, you know, okay, I love being creative. That's what I've always done. Always loved doing stuff. So I thought, okay, well, instead of traveling for a year, I'm just going to go to college and I'm going to take glass blowing. That's what I'm going to enjoy.
You have 8 minutes.
Pardon?
You have 8 minutes.
8 minutes. Oh, okay, got to carry this up. So I took glass blowing in school. I realized that you cannot learn how to glass blow in 1 year. It's a really technical, very like fidgety art. So I did 3 years of glass blowing. It was really cool. Looking back on it now, it didn't really have anything to do with my actual career, but it was something interesting, and I am glad that I did it. But from then, I decided to transfer my college credits into university credits. So my dad, growing up, he always talked about how university uh, is the only thing that's going to get you career success. You know, the only thing that's going to do that. So it's been my whole life thinking, okay, at some point I need to go to university because that's the only way that I'm going to be able to fund my lifestyle, you know. So I went to took some classes in university. I'm still 4 credits shy of graduating from university. That's only because when I was going to university, it was an online course. So I decided to start going to school for welding at the same time.
Oh,
Yeah. So thankfully I did that because my welding teacher ended up being a Boilermaker, and he knew I was going to doing online courses. So I was working a couple jobs, I was going to school for welding, and I was also doing my online courses for my degree. So, I seem to always put lots on my plate. And he
I was
told
just about to
me,
say, sounds like you were busy back then.
yeah, I'm always busy, and I don't know what's wrong with me. But he told me, Candace, I don't know why you're continuing to, this education when you could um just go into the trades. You're a really good welder, and they're looking for welders. They're dying for welders right now. So he told me to go and apply to some of the trades union. I went and applied to the Boilermakers Union because he was a Boilermaker. And yeah, I got accepted. And that's where my actual career started. Yay. So yeah, I did my apprenticeship. I actually did my apprenticeship in 3 years. Normally for a Boilermaker, it's 6,600 hours or 4 years. But because I was a welder, then I seemed to always work. Once I was done one job, I'd be pulled to the next. They always wanted me to do some welding because there's always welding to do. So I had it done in 3 years when that normally takes 4 years. And then,
What up?
yeah. And then after that, yeah, I had my daughter, and when I came back from maternity leave, then they were looking for all the trade unions have representatives that are radiation protection in nuclear plants.
Yeah.
So I applied to be one. I did aptitude tests, I did interviews, and I was finally accepted to take further education to become a radiation protection coordinator. So that's what I do for Ontario Power Generation. But having a green badge in nuclear, then I can go work a lot of places. Just having that, it wasn't easy taking nuclear physics after my maternity leave, still having that mom brain, but I persisted, and now I'm here, and yeah.
Well, you're saying you're amazing and you decided to just make yourself even better.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, no, I think it's hard when you're doing the hard stuff. You obviously throughout that time wanted to quit a few times, but um you definitely thank your past self for persevering, you know um
So yeah, like it seems
yeah,
so hard sometimes, and then it's like, man, it wasn't really that tough. Like,
exactly, yeah,
or it's like, or it was really tough, but it's so worth it now.
exactly, yeah, yeah,
So
definitely tough, especially coming back from maternity leave and trying to turn my brain back on. I think that was one of the tougher parts of it. But now I'm at a new leveling up with my career, becoming a supervisor of the supervisors. It's taxing knowledge wise, yeah.
well done.
So thanks. But it's also taxing, being having a learning disability, but not being able to really like trying to just put that in the back burner, like looking um at my past, my track record, and knowing that I can do this. I've done hard things before. So just knowing that, but just keeping my mind off my learning disability, and stopping my mind from going back to my old ways of thinking that I'm stupid, or that I can't do it, kind of down on yourself.
I'm sure that the people listening or watching can reassure you that you're not stupid,
Thank you.
just so you know.
Well, I think that that's the thing. It's that I just recently I was able to turn the narrative around on that, knowing that I've had to deal with all these external factors in my life, and knowing that I used to think I was less than because of that, but now I know that I'm actually more than, because I've dealt with these external factors and I persevered, and I have achieve things. So I think it's just being able to flip that around and knowing that I'm not less, I'm actually more than.
So speaking of doing some amazing things, Candice, there's lots of people with that have disabilities that continue to do amazing things, regardless of their disabilities.
Oh yes. Yeah. Not
I'm not sure if this is
not a
gonna.
disability, it's learning abilities. And wow,
Yeah.
look at this.
So
This lady, oh my gosh.
like this is pretty amazing, and again, I do hope that this is true. But this is a pretty cool work of art that this lady has created. I'm not a very good drawer, and I know that I brought it up with less than a minute left to go, but I just wanted to show some of the cool things that people are doing just to hopefully inspire those out there to continue to do great things.
Yeah. Yeah, taking a disability and making it an ability, that's an absolute that's amazing, amazing feat that she's done for sure. That's amazing. I'll have to see
Well,
if we can talk to her.
yeah, one day
Get
we'll
her on
try
the
to go. Yeah,
line.
that would be awesome. Let's one day try to talk, figure out a way to talk to her. Let's make a comment on this post and let's figure out a way to get this lady on here.
That would be amazing. Yes. And it would be cool if she, like, I don't know, drew one of your animals or even maybe
Ooh, that would
drew
be
you with an
awesome.
animal.
What?
Yeah.
What? That'd be so cool. Okay, well, I think we're about to get cut off, so have a good one and until next time.
Okay. So good talking to you, Jay.
Great to talk to you. Until next time, take care.